Hi, this is really annoying as my headset's played up again on this later episode, so I'm adding narration after the fact, so it might not be as natural as if I was doing this naturally and live. Never seems to work the same when you narrate after the fact, as you're not really thinking the way that you were when you actually recorded the session. So that's right, we've just taken this over to the oh, do you know, I love it when my word brain goes dead. Yes, we're just taking this over to the it will come to me, honest, it will. I can hear the car behind me, it's annoyingly. And I've switched my lights on and I should be indicating, and now I'm indicating. Brilliant. Okay, so we're going to stick this in the compost heap. That's what I was trying to say. We're going to stick this in the compost heap, the last of the straw, and we're going to stick that in there. Oh my life, I do apologise for my brain. It's been one of those days at work today where, oh my life, has it been a tough one. So yes, I really wanted to get the audio recorded onto this session. It's so annoying that it literally was lost, and I wanted to do it when it's fresh in my mind, and I hopefully thought that I could remember what I had actually right, now what was I going to do? Where am I going? Am I going to swap? I know what I did in this session, it's just remembering what I was actually thinking at the time with this. I know I wanted to use the John Deere because it seemed like I was literally favouring the Agritron, which I was just enjoying the fact that it drives around at 32 miles an hour. So I think I'm going to swap the... Oh, still left my indicator on, I see. Yes, I was going to swap the trailers over, I think. Oh, was that my plan? It should be. So I'm manually going to... No, I'm actually going to use my head, and I'm going to let a worker do this, and I'm obviously not going to use the bigger, although I do swap this over eventually, and I do use the bigger trailer in a little bit. So this is me setting the course, so the worker can do this so that I can get on with other things. I've got to start to get better at using my workers instead of trying to do everything manually. It's ridiculous. The last couple of episodes have been nothing but like busy all the way through. It's nice though to have all of the harvest completed finally, and 80 tons of wheat, as well as an awful lot of straw that we are composting. Right, that's better. Let's see what we're doing now. That's it, I've set the course. I've not recorded that, have I? Oh, that's right. I do remember now. Yes, I didn't save the course from the day before, so I was trying to see if I could mirror the course by setting it again from the same position, and actually it sort of worked, but some of it's a bit disappointing. It does get most of it, but it's not quite perfect. Although it looks perfect, the lines seem to match. But at least it saves me doing it all manually, and we can do secondary jobs, which I think is why we've got the John Deere there. And I think that's right, I was also saying it's times like this that you could do with 2 milling machines, because we need to pick up the grass as well at the same time. But I said a bit of patience. Oh yeah, that was nearly died in a thing of seeds. It was quite hilarious. Yes, this is that's right. I'm going to windrow it, aren't I? That's what I was trying to literally use my workforce to better advantage. So I was going to pick the windrower up, I seem to recall, and this is me looking for the windrower, which is only just up there, just next to field 13. That last yellow high dot, if I remember rightly. No, next one up. Yeah, that's the one. See, I do remember some things. was me accidentally clicking the helper button. So yes, this is rather annoying that I've got to add an hour's worth of recording on. It means it's got to watch the entire episode again, and I've already watched it through editing to see what mistakes. So it was annoying when I realised there was absolutely no narration at all, that was totally gone. I always find it so much more difficult to narrate after the fact. It's amazing how your thought process is unique at the time when you're doing something as to I can't believe that filled up so quickly. Amazing. $44 tons in just that little bit of time. Crazy. Brilliant as well, obviously. Amazing. That's certainly going to produce some compost. Just look at our money at the minute, 134,057. Can't wait to see how much all that digestate that we're going to produce and all the compost is going to produce. I know in this session we just dump it into the composter, and in fact the composter is getting so full by the end of this session that I begin to put some of the grass that we get from these grass fields and some of the straw into the silo, because it's getting difficult to put it in the compost. So when we literally cash that in and put that into the biogas plants, I'm really wanting to see how much we actually do make, even on hard economy. I'd imagine that we do quite well, and I can't wait to see what the biogas plants payout is for tonight. Trouble is, in this day on the farm, we can't speed up time because we've got so much to do, grass to go, and if I remember rightly, there's rain that is threatening as well. And I think we actually look at the weather in a few minutes. So that's another worry for this session. And I think, if I remember rightly, I think I had looked at the weather already, if I'm honest, by this stage. So I was aware that I needed to go like a bat out of hell and sort everything out. Which is why I think my main tractor is the Agritron. Not because I favoured it, but because I needed speed to sort everything out. Yes. Oh wow. Yeah, honestly, by the time of the end of this session comes, that thing's nearly bursting at the seams with the straw that we get. So and hay. Yeah, and that trailer is still playing up when you do that lock-in bit. Yeah, I must admit this is an amazing mod. I just can't wait to see. I think I was also mentioning that normally by this time, obviously we have started from scratch with absolutely no money, so I am bowled over that we've literally got all of the equipment and mods that we have at this stage, and it's still only late summer. But I think I'll make mention, which obviously now will not be recorded, that normally by 04 summer, midsummer, I have normally on most Let's Plays got cow mods, a cow pasture, and usually got quite a few cows by this stage. But obviously that's not taken into consideration that this time, this Let's Play, we had absolutely no money. That is on a normal Let's Play when I've had 500,000 on the start from scratch. So to be honest, I'm bowled over that we're doing as well as we are. We've got field 7. That was another thing. Yeah, I'll wait till I show you. Some of it's coming back now. Yeah, I think this is where I've manually taken over because things have gone a bit funny. The worker was speeding past some of this, so I thought in the end I may as well just take over, because I'd set the worker... Oh no, I hadn't, had I? That's right. I did want to set the windrower going. When it's going to dawn on me. Yeah, here we go. This is when I need to take over. Yeah, that's when it dawns upon me as well that I need to go and start that Fendt GT on the windrower. Yeah, let's think what I was... Yeah, no. Really? What was I thinking? What was I thinking? What did I do next? Oh, is this where I was going to look at the digestate? I had a brainwave. Maybe. I'm trying to think. Why did I not think? It's amazing when you've not got the pressure of the session upon you. You see clearly, much more clearly, of things you should have done. What I should have done really. Most important thing was to get that Fendt GT doing the windrow in, and then I could have come back to this. Mind you, trouble is I'm juggling 3 jobs. Was this me checking how much I'd actually got in? What was I thinking? Whoa. I'm trying to think what I did, what I said. Yeah, I think I am. Oh, no, I'm not. Oh, no, this is where I said how mucky the windows were. And so I jumped out to clean it because I've now got the American hose, garden hose, which is an absolutely amazing mod. That's better. I can now see outside the window. I did say something to that effect. I think I'm going to grab the digestate, the liquid tanker, to see how much digestate, but if I remember rightly, I think I'd already done that. I did it yesterday, on yesterday's session, should I say. It's still the same game day. I do remember what I did say here as well. I made mention of all the weeds, of how I sort of had this innate thing, on the last session that I said about, oh, look at that, Agritron's full again. Yeah, I was literally saying that I had this inner feeling that the weeds wouldn't get done, and then I also said that, but then again it was fairly obvious because I knew what heavy schedule of work I'd got on this session. So, what was I looking at there? Oh, I think I was looking at field 7 to see if I could see if that was actually ready for harvest, and thankfully it was in the final green stage, so therefore doesn't need harvesting, because I think that would literally blow my brain if I'd got another job to do on top of these other 3 juggling jobs that I'm juggling. This of course is the main job, to be honest, but you can see how look how much straw we've got on this major run, as well as all the grass that we're actually doing on the grass fields as well. You can see, oh, that's where having the drawbar locked, I make mention of the fact that it still causes trouble even with the Agritron, and how it's a right pain. I think it's soon that I start to think about swapping over to the other trailer, because it's so much better than this. It's a fantastic trailer, but that locking the drawbar seems to do things when you turn with it. It causes all sorts of weird issues. Yeah, now I need to lock it again. I still need to lock it. I hadn't got the right thing selected. Right. Wow. You can see it's beginning to get quite full. Keep chugging those 44 tons in. You can see at the back it's starting to reach a certain height, which is the maximum height for the capacity, which means it starts to get a bit difficult to actually dump the tonnage in. I can't quite read how much is in there. Oh, 182 tons of compost in there. I also make note that if you look on the left hand side, you can see there's a bit of spillage in the compost heap. Right, let's get this back and get some more straw in. Yeah, I can't believe how much work there is to do in this episode. There's just so many jobs that need doing. I think I set the work again here. I'm sure I do, and then clear off to either the John Deere or the Fendt. I can't remember which job I thought was the most important, but if you ask me now, it should be the Fendt. But I think the John Deere is more out of me trying to get a grip on what jobs were done. Oh no, I do go to the right one. I go to the Fendt GT. Oh, I didn't realise I'd actually set him going. I missed that. So at least I did have the common sense to actually start the Fendt on that, which is good, which is why I do choose the John Deere, so that was the right decision. I completely and wholeheartedly agree with my former self that this was the right decision. Now I know that that's what I was deciding. You know, this second guessing is quite tiring. I can hear that car behind me. Right, and that's me pulling over to let him go. Very kind of me. And if I remember rightly, a car comes around the corner at the very wrong time, and I make a statement such as, sometimes being kind costs. I had to wait for that car. But it's true, sometimes kindness does. It's no good making a gesture, sometimes you've got to follow through, sometimes. And it can cost you. Right, I think this is where it shows me we have got absolutely no digest date. But to be honest, it was useful me dropping this lorry off anyway, because yeah, I was right, no digest date, but we do need it there later, so it's not a waste of time me fetching that. This is where you can see that the helper's just taken me down an empty strip, and I decide, I think this is better for me to take over and do it manually. But he's done quite well. He's taken that far strip. That's all done. In fact, thinking about the course, I'm not sure it had done it wrong. I think it got to go right the way down the bottom and then come up this middle bit. So I think it was more me misunderstanding the course rather than the worker getting it wrong. But there is a lot of clean-up work to be done, so I don't suppose it really did hurt, because the Fendt GT's cracking on with the grass work, and we're doing this, which, wow, it's nearly another full. Amazing how much straw we get from this. It is a shame about straw, to be honest. It has sort of, in the base game, become almost that you want to switch it off. When I first started to play Farming Sim, I think I've said this before, straw was still worth something, not a lot, but it was worth, you could sort of sell. I know obviously if you need it for livestock, obviously you need it for bedding and stuff like that, and also you can pad out total mixed ration with it, which I personally do that. It's sort of cuts out how much of the more expensive and more labour intensive silage and hay. So yeah, it does pad it out, so it's definitely worth it. But as a product to sell, it certainly has become almost totally useless and valueless. Right, this is me, I think, having the common sense to move him down to the next grass field, I believe. Oh no, I'm going the wrong way, so that can't be right. Am I just checking? Make sure he's done everything. Yes, I am going the right way. I am going down to the next field. I think, if I remember rightly, I actually make a mistake here and I set it for the wrong field. I tell it to do, if you can see the next strip on the left, I actually I'm imagining that I'm setting the course for the strip after this, which is the grass, and actually what I'm really doing is setting the course for the field coming up now. So I actually tell the Fendt GT, much to my horror later in the session, to actually windrow that field to the left, which, as you can see, clearly doesn't need windrowing. This does escape my notice at the moment. This is where I'm talking about I have a cunning plan to make field 7 extended into that grass field, and I said just note the fact that it looks like a number 7. I'm saying that I'm going to include that entire strip and all of that, and it actually looks like a number 7, which it does actually, I've got to agree. So yes, that's my plan, that although I said I was getting rid of all the strips, I'm going to include that strip and plough the middle bit out and make it all into one quite large field, which it will make quite a serious field actually, looking at it, probably about the same as field 6-ish, which is not a bad sized field at all. So that's my plan, of course, after I've done the beet harvest. I also made mention that I have actually been to the mod hub and I've got a small cheap topper and also a small cheap harvester that's not going to break the bank, so we should actually make some money out of the sugar beet harvest on field 7 in a couple of days. I think I was also pointing out that it's in its final growth stage. It's in the very dark growth stage, so it's quite close to turning. So yes, yeah, here we go. Watch this, field 25A, the wrong field edge. Well done me. Yeah, we really wanted 38A, which I can see why I did make that mistake actually though, because it is still next to 25, but it is actually 38A, the green coming up from that. Yeah. This does make me laugh. Oh. Mind you, at least I am setting the course. It wasn't a total waste. I just don't understand why I didn't see him turn around. I don't think I gave it time. I think I'd literally darted straight over back to the Agritron before I actually watched where the worker was going. So you can, much to my bemusement in a few minutes, see my mistake. It's amazing when you, after the fact, when you do cotton on what you were doing, how you can start to mock your decisions. That's because you know what mistakes you made. Whereas I'm not really trying to mock myself, truthfully. We all make mistakes, and I can see why under such pressure of trying to get 100 jobs done in one episode, which never leads to... There's just so much to do. And I think I am aware at this time that I am actually fighting against the weather, and this is where I need to lock my drawbar again, and it's been awkward. There we go, finally locked it. You can see now how it's beginning to get a little bit crowded in there. There's not so much room in there as there was. Another couple of those and we're seriously going to be running out of space. Let's have a look what it's up to now. What are we up to? Let's get in, it's up to 194,000. Just watch the struggle we have at putting it at the top though now. It's sort of reached the apex. I have to keep pulling forwards because it doesn't like unloading, because it's reached the most high point that the compost mod will allow it to be dropped off at, which is, think I'm beginning to cotton on. 213,000. I think I hazarded a guess at this stage that 250,000 was the limit, but it isn't actually, it's more than that. But it does get harder to dump in the compost heap as you get closer to the forward bit, so... Now this is where I decide to grab the other trailer because it's slightly bigger, and also because I think I'm sick to death of locking that back bar off because it keeps on dragging me around. Whereas obviously there's no such problem with this particular trailer. Of course, when we bought that fantastic modded trailer, which was cheap as chips, it was obviously done, as I said earlier in the Let's Play, it's a compromise. To begin with, you aren't necessarily choosing the equipment that you want, you're choosing the equipment that you can afford, and there's often compromises in the quality. If you could afford what you wanted, you can't. You are actually affording equipment that sometimes has little foibles, which obviously that one does. Now this is where I'm going to discover that, oh look, that grass field has not been and I'm like going, what? What's happened here? Oh my life, it's gone wrong. And then I think I finally cotton on that actually it did the field behind us, not the one in front. I think I'm beginning to see the lights. Yes, I am. Finally. Yes, this is where I set him on the right field. Now I jump back in the Agritron. Not much left to do now. Only a little bit cleaning up stuff to do on this field. We certainly got some straw off it though. 250 tonnes. Almost, we're up to almost in the compost heap. That is absolutely phenomenal. That's definitely going to produce an awful lot of digestate when we put that in the BGA, as well as a massive payout. I would imagine even under hard economy it still should seriously be a good payout when we actually put the manure into the biogas plant. Can't remember what payout, how. I don't think manure on this particular map's are wonderful. I think it's 200, which is just a little bit more than if we did silage, which I think is 150 on hard economy. I'm almost sure that's right. Some maps give as much as 400 or 500 for manure. My Thornton farm pays 500. It's actually did a switch because I realised that having animals would produce such a lot of money from the manure even in the first year of having cows, and that really was a very wise decision. But again, you've got to be guided by the map and how the map favours certain products. I've always said that in most of my Let's Plays, that one of the first things you should really do on any map is study the map and to see what specific products the map favours, and actually work towards working with the map if you want to do well on a map. Some maps favour manure, some maps favour wood chips, some maps hate wood chips. You've got to look and see. Attingham Park favours wood chips enormously, so it's an absolutely amazing choice. On my Let's Play Attingham, I made an absolute killing off the fish farm place. Is it the fish farm? What is it? It's only a small thing, but there were a lot of trees on there and some quite big, and I did make hundreds of thousands, and I was on hard economy, so that was amazing that I'd literally gone from really poor equipment to quite amazing good tractors in a couple of sessions because of just how well wood chips pay on that map. It was fantastic. Again, it's all about studying the map to see what products, if any, are favoured by the map maker and the prices. I mean, this map's got an amazing thing that we've got these free fields, so to be honest, you don't really need much else other than such a fantastic ability, especially for us. It's been such a hand up to have these free fields. Well, we wouldn't have field 7 if we hadn't have done this. And 133,000 in the bank, mainly from our own. I think there was about 80 grand that was contract work payouts, so yeah, there's 53,000, and there's an awful lot of obviously manure or compost in the compost heap that is going to be literally bring us an awful lot of money in once that's cashed in. So yes, we will be, when we've cashed in all of our products, that 80,000 wheat, which again, that's not till winter. Best price for that is in winter, so again, we've got to wait for that one. Again, that's a thing of seasons. Yeah, I think this is when I begin to realise that this is getting difficult to actually put things into the compost heap. Or is it the next load that I begin to realise that this is getting quite difficult? I'm not sure. Now then, am I going to... Yes, I'm going to the Fendt GT. All my life I've got a sneezing fit. Oh yeah, this is when he bumped into the fence. I don't know how we did that, I really don't. That obviously the course must go quite heavily to the left. Also, we've got so much hay on this left hand side, I think I'm making mention that this is going to cause trouble, and it is. For saying I've not long cut this, there's already an awful lot of hay forming, which is definitely going to cause us trouble. That's the one disadvantage, which is one thing I do say later on, which of course I'm now saying now because I'm changing when I say it. The one disadvantage to the milling machine is the fact that obviously it cannot cope with two products. It actually just literally locks up when there's a second product introduced and just sits there until you can get rid of that product. So truthfully, the best way to deal with that would be to take a small trailer behind this one and just keep running to the back. But obviously that's why I often call this the poor man's loading wagon, because although it is excellent, and it truly is, it's a fantastic leg up, but eventually it does annoy the fact that obviously you've got to keep spitting the extra content. Like if you're working with grass and there's hay around, you're going to catch some hay and it's going to cause you hassle because you're going to need to dart off somewhere and spit that hay out. So that's all lost time, which is lost productivity. So although it is cheap, it does cost you in time, which obviously eventually time is money. When you've got that opportunity to swap up and get a loading wagon, it is a good idea, definitely. Brilliant. That's the Fendt, another field finish. Now I can't remember, do I know I'm quite anxious to get them started on the last two grass fields, which of course is the one by the shop and the one by the windmill. I can't remember that. No, I did. I started him off, that's right. And there's still patches of hay on this course that are still a pain. I don't know if I've noticed that, which is why I'm doing it manually. Not because I didn't want the worker to help, but the trouble is, with there being these little tiny patches of hay, yeah, look, there's one coming up now on the left. Yeah, I've got to dart out the way and go around it, and it's so... The trouble is with the milling machine, it's so good at sucking up products from quite a way away that you've really got to be on the ball. So these little tiny patches of hay that you can see dotted here and there are really going to... Look, there's one coming up again. Again, I've got to go straight around it. Being very careful not to grab any hay. So it's... You couldn't just send a worker on this at this point because he would be forever getting clogged up with hay. There's some more coming up. Yeah, it's see how close we are to actually grabbing hay in that bit, and even when we were quite a way away from it. There's too many patches of hay that are going to catch us out. Yeah, definitely, although I wish to send a worker going, this is just beyond. It would be more of a pain to set a worker going on this than it would be to try to do it yourself, which is something I'm totally aware of. Yes, you can see, I seem to recall I was mentioning the fact that with the loading wagon it is an amazing mod in so much as, look at my speed, 30 odd miles an hour, you can literally tank, but when you make a switch like that, if you don't grab the next windrow within a second or two, it actually loses a bit of steam and you've got to build it up again like that. I've just missed a bit of grass behind me. It takes a couple of seconds after meeting blank air, when you literally, like the end of this row, when there's nothing, all of a sudden it loses steam and you've got to slow down a bit. Otherwise, that's why I'm slowing down, otherwise it doesn't suck it all up and you get patches that are missing, and then you can gradually build up steam again. Oh, I thought I was going to get that hay then. Yeah, so again it's a slow start and then you build up, and you can literally, on a field that goes round and around, it's fantastic because you literally can, if you steer correctly, just go all the way around the field with this at full pelt, especially if you haven't got any dabs of hay like we've got. You've got to be so careful. One mistake and we've got to spit that out. Wow, really got to, certainly getting some product from this. Plenty of grass. That's another thing I seem to recall. I was saying that you've got to get this up, otherwise you've got to let it turn to hay, and then the next time you come on, if there's any of that hay left, you've really got to clean the field up, which is another thing about using the milling machine as a cheap man's loading wagon. It really does have some quite serious foibles, that when you can afford the expensive loading wagons, it really is not a bad idea. You've either got to do it instantly, as in cut and then literally windrow straight away and straight away pick up, but we're talking about American prairie type weather where the temperature's so hot, some of it turns so rapidly. I'd only just finished cutting this, so obviously the fact that some of these windrows have started to have hay form already, you can't really, it's hard to actually beat that kind of thing. So again, there's certain situations where a loading wagon definitely beats this as a loading wagon. Oh, yeah, I've reached the end of my full load. Quite a bit of product off that. Yeah, I was also saying that even though people always talk about seasons clearing up, although I think we've had rain a few times on this and it's still showing that hay through from all those days ago that we did that session where we actually did those windrows, where we cut that grass and made it into hay. It still is, although people talk about seasons clearing up, which of course it does, it still takes time. It don't just disappear overnight, it takes weeks, which of course, to be honest, is true to life. You wouldn't get tons of hay just disappear overnight. Yeah, this is where I'm literally saying I need to stick this in the silo because there's just way too much compost. It's getting hard to dump that into the composter now, so I'm going to start to put this into here until we empty that compost into the biogas plant again, which obviously we won't be doing this episode. There's way too much to grab out. I can't wait until we do though, to be honest. That I'm really looking forward to seeing when the dust settles and all this product's literally cashed in. I mean, obviously the wheat's going to be a long way down, but the compost we can do literally next session. It'll be interesting to see when we've done that, got the biogas payout and the digestate payout from the slurry yard, exactly how much money we've got. I'm not sure when sugar beet, obviously we should be harvesting that within a day or two. I know I'm not sure when the best time to sell that is. Most crops seem to be winter. So again, if we've got to wait till winter to get the best price, again, certain things are going to be taking a while to actually gain. Right, let's get this. Wow, I've still got quite a bit of product. It's not bad. Then of course I've got the windrows in that other field. I'm missing a bit of a trick though here, in so much as I should have got the fence going at this point. I think it's because I'm again single-handedly trying to do everything myself, and obviously that's another thing. If we'd got a loading wagon, we could use a worker. Because I'm aware of this hay problem, it does mean I've got to manually do this, because it's going to cause more trouble than if I let a worker do it, which I have got a point. So again, this loading wagon done with the milling machine is fantastic, but it does have its foibles. Is this where I make a mistake? No, not this one. I think it's the next field where I actually make that fateful mistake of grabbing some hay. It causes trouble, of course, but you can see on the right hand side, look how much hay there is there. I've been quite skillful on this field and managed to avoid grabbing the hay, which is good. And I know why, because the box is up there where we could stick the hay if we made the mistake, so it wouldn't take us long to actually sort it. Yeah, I've got to be very careful on this patch. One mistake and I swallow down some hay. Not a bad job, Mr. Smith. Now I'm going down to the 38A grass field. Now that I have finally finished that. Yeah, I was saying at this point that I was unsure as to whether we are going to do these strip fields again, or whether we're just going to start from this point onwards using field 7, which obviously I've already discussed. We said that we would use that particular strip back there right the way up to the top of field 7. We would be using that, but I'm not sure of this side or the rest of it, to be honest. I think we'll be turning our attention from doing these to standard fields, I think. I can't see. I'm sure that's what I was saying, because I did want to use them. Obviously it really has helped us out enormously. I mean, think of the compost that we've got from all that straw and all the grass product we've got from this, or are going to get from this. It is amazing. We would have had none of this except for these help me up fields. Yeah, I do at least set the worker going though, which was a clever idea, but don't go far, Mr. Smith. I have a feeling you'll be back soon. Yeah, this is where I think I'm thinking about getting the fence going on the field. Yeah, I am, because I've left the windrower, so I must be definitely going to grab the back mower and start this cutting the field by the shop. Good idea. Unfortunately, because of the cheap man's loading wagon, I think it's one that I will soon be hitting me in the backside. Oh yeah, it's fallen over. I don't know why. I don't know why this has fallen over, but luckily, because it's such a low 3-point hitch, we can actually grab it off the floor. Yet another advantage to the Fendt GT. Absolutely fantastic mod. Very, very much overlooked, including by myself. This is me getting the field ready for the shop. I did actually think of trying to think on my feet, which was... Oh, I didn't notice. Did I notice there's 2 combined courses on that? No. Or did I? I may have done. Sorry, when you record a narration, it's quite funny, but the recording software that I use gives you a preview and it skips. It doesn't actually show you frame by frame exactly, so you miss bits. So I only saw certain bits. I'm not sure if I did see that I'd got 2 combined courses and corrected it, because it skips a few frames. It's good enough for you to be able to narrate so you can see where you were on the video, but it's not quite good enough to see it as if it would be 24 frames per second. It's not that good a preview, so there's a certain amount of guesswork and feel to this kind of adding narration on after the recording session. This is where I realised that I'd left that box on here and that it's been driving me crazy in editing for the last few sessions, as I see that this box is still left on here. So I'm literally saying I'm going to grab this box finally and get it off this field. I keep forgetting it's there. But finally, I have righted the wrong that has been annoying me in editing for at least 3 or 4 episodes. Oh yeah, this is why he's got hay. This is what I said. This was the fateful moment, which is rather annoying because that hay box is a goodly long way up at the top. I think this is where I actually say that the best way to deal with this, if you were gonna, it's obviously got quite a serious misgiving in so much it can't handle 2 products, and I said that if you stuck something like, because this has got a rear trailer hitch, if you stuck something like the cheap 3-ton tipper at the back of this, you could actually quickly unhitch and go to the back and the hay would go into the small tipper. So again, it's not that it's impossible to deal with the shortcomings of this as a loading wagon. You can, if you seriously want it, which I actually used to a good extent for the windrower, which I finally remember that I can do that, which is quite amazing. But yes, I don't know actually if it was hitching that up that gave me the idea about hitching the smaller trailer at the back would be a good idea of dealing with this particular problem of 2 products that the loading wagon, the milling machine, can't deal with. But it is true, you could. It would be a bit faffy, but then that's what you get for using something that's sort of a bit of a jack of all trades, master of none, whereas a loading wagon is what it's designed to do and is good at that one job. So, swings and roundabouts. If you're expecting something to be a jack of all trades, then there's a bit of a trade-off, and it can be, like this, quite a painful, time-consuming trade-off. That wasted at least 2 or 3 minutes of faffing around unloading that hay. But if you had got a small trailer on the back of that, it would actually work. This is where I'm trying to get this to start cutting the grass in behind the shop. Get that one field done, because I'm trying my best. I've got to be honest, I'm quite pleased with it. I've got so many jobs on the go here, it was almost impossible to juggle them, but I did have a valiant attempt at doing it, and I don't think I did too bad. It doesn't show. This is me dropping that front box off, because I know sometimes when you've got the front box on it, when you try to set the worker going, it says something about tool needs filling. Bizarre. Even though actually I don't know what on earth it's on about because it's full, but I think it's really basically trying to say it can't work with that, with product in it. It confuses it when it's got that product on and you're trying to mow, so you've got to really take it off and just mow with the mowers. It's safer. I can't believe how quickly that grass actually grew. It was amazing. There we go. Go. Job's a good one. Alright, let's jump to the Agrotron. Right, let's see if we can avoid the hay. Of course, I know what happens, so I'm not going to ruin it whether I do be successful or whether I fail. I am not going to say a comment either way to influence your decision on guessing as to which course is what happens. I know Murphy's Law would probably decide most people as to which way this is going to go. Yeah, I mean this one especially, the amount, I mean we have only just finished cutting this earlier in the day, and I mean we're talking about an hour or two. Look at that already, the hay forming in the strips, just unbelievably quick. It's less than a couple of hours ago it was cut. Wow, we're certainly getting some product off this. Love the speed I'm belting down here, 32 miles an hour. I'm trying to be thorough here and grab all the little tiny bits, because as I say, if you don't and you leave them, it really will hit you in the backside in a couple of days, when the next time you cut this you've still got some hay forming. Trouble is, it's very difficult to be that thorough, which is why, of course, again, another positive for a proper loading wagon. Yeah, it was rather ditched. That was definitely a good decision, Mr. Smith, to clean that. I do love that American Garden hose. Talk about good value and convenient. I know it's a little tongue-in-cheek, but I suppose no more different than pulling a chainsaw out of your back pocket. It's only a representation of the fact that you really have got your chainsaw in your back of your tractor. Although I can't quite think of where your water tank is stored for spraying your tractor. Ooh, there's too much hay. Yeah, it got me. It did. Of course I knew it was going to, but I am inwardly and probably outwardly cursing at this moment at the unfairness of Murphy's Law that has caught me out yet again, being as I am so far away from the hay box that we carefully put up at the next field for this very purpose, which is another thing why I realised that it would be so amazing if we had a small trailer attached to the back if we were going to use this for any length of time. And I think I also make mention it is probably quite likely that we have got to use this for quite some time, because we've got the farm to buy, maybe animals. I think I make mention of the fact that I would like to go into animals, which means we probably will have to put up with this as a loading wagon for quite some time, because affording a proper loading wagon is seriously going to take some money. And when I say some money, I mean a lot, and this is hard economy where earning money is not so easy. I also make mention on this episode that obviously it's very nice to be working on just this entire episode. We haven't done a single contract, which is quite amazing, because I don't think there's any other session where we've actually had a complete session to work on our own field. So this is quite nice, because normally in most of my Let's Plays I don't do any contracts at all. I only work on our farm, so it is quite nice to be actually for once able to follow that model and just work on our farm, as small as that farm is presently. Right, yeah, this is where I decide it's probably better to lug that and stick it in the silo than it would be to run all the way back and grab some more, because I don't think I can do it without filling the trailer. So I concur. I think that was, considering how close we were to the silo, probably the right decision. Oh, we must have 80 odd ton of grass that we've got from those two fields so far, and we've not finished yet. That's amazing. I can't wait to record the next session. Just remembering my indicator. Makes such a weird noise in the Agritron. If you're in cab, it doesn't make such a weird noise if you're out of cab. It's a really good view through the Agritron front window. It's amazing. No, Wow, Fendt GT's doing a good job on that field. There's our house, our Jonathan Creek windmill. I never realised we never did place this. Oh, we did. Yes, we did on this. We did place the water wheel at the corner of the biogas, didn't we? Yes. So we have got 2 passive incomes on this Let's Play. Right. We are. No clouds appearing yet, or just clouds. Looking at that sky, I'm trying to gauge. Yeah, I think the clouds are gathering. I think it's going to be a terrible long time, but we're not showing any rain as being an imminent. We're only showing clouds at the minute. Funnily enough, I can't remember exactly when or if they do. Do you know, I don't know that they do strike on this episode. I can't remember now. I think they're supposed to start about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Yeah, they are. I'm not sure if I've shown that bit or whether I'm about to do that, where I actually show the weather for today, because I can see obviously that the clouds are beginning to gather, and I think I make a comment about those clouds. So I'm not sure whether I pull that screen open in a minute so we can see when the imminency of those rain is going to come. I can't remember. Oh, why am I? Oh, I think I'm folding it down so that it doesn't obscure so much of my view, but it doesn't make much of a difference. But then I also clang it on the floor and say, maybe not such a good idea, let's lift it up anyway. Yeah. Obscuring your view is one thing, but destroying your equipment on the floor is a completely other. Yes, the milling machine doesn't make a great window. Now then, let's see if you can... Yeah, look at that window to the right. I don't think we're going to be able to get much of that without grabbing hay. That was a bit better done. Wow, I can see a few bits of hay coming up. Ooh, not bad. Not a bad job. Yeah, this is me trying to grab that grass, but ooh, well, I'd switched it off. Thank goodness for that. Now then, what was I doing? Yeah, I think I'd finished. No, I hadn't. Oh yes, I had. I'm going to pop over to the... Ah, that's right. I think my timer had gone, and I think I just made mention of the fact that I wasn't going to push the timer too much. So I'm jumping in and think I decide to take over from our worker and just finish this field, what little bit left myself. Yeah, I think I'm about to say my usual fond farewell. Oh, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you're going to continue on this journey with us. That is my customary, although I don't get it word perfect like most content creators. I haven't quite got an off-pat saying yet, but then, to be honest, I want it to be a bit more natural. It is clever, I suppose. Most content creators have got their own little words. Mr. CDP's got his off-pat farewell that he always does. I think I've reached the end of my... No, not yet. I nearly have. So I am going to say, hope that you will continue on this journey with us, and I am going to say, probably, goodbye for now, any second.